Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Noah Unleashed. If you're new here, hi, I'm Melball and I like Japanese wrestling. And this is Noah Unleashed, a weekly news and review show where I talk all about my favorite Japanese wrestling company, Pro Wrestling Noah. If you're not new here, welcome back to the glorious chaos that is your Melball. I've got a great show lined up for you tonight. I am talking about night one of the N1 Victory Tournament. But before we get into that, I need you guys to like the video, subscribe to OLE, and turn on notifications so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video. So, without further ado, I am here again to talk to you guys about the first night one of the N1 Victory Tournament, and it was crazy, and I got up to watch it live at 3:30 in the morning here, and it was definitely worth it. So, how I'm going to do the N1 tournament specifically this night, because there's a lot to take in. We also had a championship match. I'm going to go in more detail about the matches that I pick as match of the night. I'm still going to talk about the other matches because they're going to obviously be worth seeing, but I'm going to give you the Block A and Block B match to see of that night. Again, in more detail, and then the other ones we're going to talk about the important details. So, to start off the show, match one, just to start off, the crowd was absolutely on fire, so excited, just pumped full of energy, hooting and hollering the whole night, booing when appropriate. I absolutely loved the energy of this crowd. So we went into match one for Block A, which was actually my pick for match of the night. You can't not open a show with Tetsuya Endo and Daga and not expect a top tier match, you guys. So let's get into it. At the beginning, Daga offering the handshake and the crowd not buying it, and neither was Tetsuya Endo, and rightfully so, because Daga immediately kicked Endo and went for the Diablo wings. So Endo being sassy, showing some of that sass that I loved when he was in Team 2000X, also offering the handshake to Daga, and equally as trustworthy a handshake. And Endo going for the handspring, but Daga catching him and tossing him onto the apron, where Daga then uses the rope to do an assisted kind of spinning body slam to Endo on the apron. Looked super good. Daga tossing Endo to the outside, where Tatsu tries to get involved, but Endo grabs him by the face and says, nay, sir. However, Daga hits a plancha on Endo to kind of bring him back into his attention. Daga hopping the rope and hitting a second rope lion salt looked really good. Endo doing this back rolling Pele kick and then finally hitting that handspring kick he does. Endo's special on Daga, so good with Mensure saving Endo's noggin, and that's why we have those guys at ringside catching the head before he bashed it on the barricades. Good save, Mensure. Sorry, Za. I'm sure he understood that. Thrust kicks back and forth with Daga hitting Frankensteiner, but Endo hits him with that powerbomb backbreaker when he tries to go with the Frankensteiner again. Endo hitting a flurry of kicks, including a snake eyes into the corner there, followed by a poison Rana and a pair of exploders. Daga with a flurry of kicks of his own, and then a release German into what I think was a Michinoku driver. It was really quick, really sharp. That's what Daga's kind of known for. I told you guys he was gonna be the MVP of this tournament, and he kicks it off, showing me that I was right. I like being right. So the finish comes with La Magistral roll by Daga, just going and going. Endo does try to reverse it, but Daga is able to readjust, flip over, and jackknifes that leg of Endo. Endo can't kick out, and Daga is the first person in the tournament to earn his 2 points. I was so excited to see this opener. I was so excited to see the two participants in it, and I'm very pleased with the outcome. I'm a big Endo fan, but when you saw Daga announced for this tournament that he was going to turn up and turn out, and this just poetic. It was so good. So yeah, this is my match of the night for Block A. Kicking it off hot, which should tell you how the rest of the show went. So from here, we're going to go into match number 2, which was a Block B match featuring Daiki Inaba and Jack Morris. So Morris opens up with a tope suicida and a big splash on Inaba over the barricades, and then a beautiful body splash, that sublime every time splash. So good. There was an overhead belly-to-belly suplex by Inaba. Not something we typically see him doing, despite being a power guy. I was happy to see him pulling out some new stuff to try to combat the returning Jack Morris. Inaba with a big also, on top of the belly-to-belly, we also saw a lariat and that spear cannonball. That Jonitsu spear and the Jonitsu ball in the corner on Jack Morris. So yeah, big spear on Morris, but Morris follows up with a falcon arrow. Hanap did this interesting setup for a spear in the corner, almost perching like one would in like a pool or something if you're gonna like try to spring off the wall. Springing off the buckles into a spear on Morris was very interesting, very unique. But Jack Morris follows up with a good-looking knee. And so the finish comes, Morris hitting another good-looking knee, and then following up with a Tiger Driver to earn his first 2 points in this tournament. This was great match, great follow-up to the opener as well. It's great seeing Jack back. I was very happy to see how he just won over the crowd so easily. He stepped away from Team 2000X and became the golden boy, and I suspect this won't be the last win he has in this tournament. So moving on to match number 3, which was also a Block B match. It featured Galeno taking on his teammate, Harutoki. So Harutoki, rocking a new look. I loved it. Longer hair, lighter color, a little bit curly. Loving the look. He's also got some new gear, or at least gear I'm not familiar with a cute little, look like a dolphin tail or a whale tail of some kind. I love it. It looks cute and a very drastic difference from Galeno, who came out predominantly in red to kind of match his GHC national title belt. So, what are we gonna chat about in here? There was one point where Harutoki avoids a splash from Galeno and then follows up with a roll up, which looked phenomenal, especially on someone as large as Galeno. Galeno hitting a big forearm and senton on Harutoki looked rough. There were kicks in the corner by Harutoki, followed by a tornado DDT and a big boot to Harutoki by Galeno. And there were several points where Galeno was just one-shotting Harutoki down. But the finish comes with Galeno hitting a big lariat, followed by a top rope moonsault for the big win and his 2 points. What a great way to follow up the first 2 matches, and then seeing the teammates of Harutoki and Galeno out there shaking hands before the match started and still being happy with each other after they went. They both went so hard in this match, and considering this is Harutoki's, I believe Galeno's first as well, they're kind of start into the N1 here. Phenomenal start for these guys. So we're going to move on to match number 4, which was a Block A match featuring Manabu Soya taking on Masa Kitamiya with Tadasuke in the corner of the chairman. So I do want to give a few more examples, draw a little bit more detail on this, because Masa Kitamiya, all of these guys have been doing little behind the scenes things to kind of hype up the match, hype up themselves. Masa Kitamiya, being the trainer at the dojo, has been doing things like restricting water and putting signs on the water that you're not allowed to have things, making posts about private messages, about fees and dues and stuff. He's really antagonizing that kind of behind closed doors mentality of what would the dojo system would be, and I am loving the antagonism. So So Kitamiya, again, going into the audience, starting a fight with an audience member, and eventually grabbing Odashima and like beating him up, and then stealing the chair of the person he was yelling at and beating Odashima with it. Good times, good times. I'm not loving Odashima getting beat up, but I am loving this whole new bad guy angle that we're starting to see more out of the team. So Soya rocking some cool hair. Looks like he's got some little slashes and stuff in there, or like color slashes, blue and red. I think it kind of looks like the gear pattern on the gear. Maybe. Anyway, it looks cool. So, also just want to mention the perpetual look of disgust on Kitamiya's face. Relatable. So relatable. So anyway, Soya aggressive as hell in this match. On the outside, these guys are going back and forth. Kitamiya regains control on the outside after Soya maintains some control at the beginning here, clotheslining Soya and then chopping the hell out of him before sending him into the post. The chops between these guys were just mental. Like just two big meaty men slapping meat. But it's so good. These guys are so powerful and so experienced with their moves that just the collision was shifting the ring. It was insane. So flying lariat by Soya to take Kitamiya down, but Kitamiya hits a backbreaker, but Soya follows up with a Death Valley driver. Kitamiya at one point grabs the ref, and then Tadasuke grabs Soya, but Soya is actually able to kind of shake him off and goes for a lariat, but Kitamiya swings through it and then hits a release German on Soya. Pile driver back Kitamiya on Soya, but Soya hits a surprise lariat. But the finish comes with Soya hitting a lariat, but Kitamiya hitting a Saito suplex for 2, followed by a lariat, and he pins him. But on the 2 count, lifts up Soya's head, locks in the stranglehold, and puts a special extension on the arm that has been a perpetual problem and injury for Soya. And Soya is forced to submit, giving Kitamiya his first 2 points, which. This match hurt me a little because this were the 2 guys that I was picking going into this match. It really came down to Manabu Soya and Masa Kitamiya, and it sucks to see the Jonas Baucho, the passion captain, falling to the chairman. But at the same time, I'm also a little happy because that means that I'm 2 points closer to being right about who takes the block. So from here, we're going to move on to match number 5. And this is a Block B match that features Kenoh taking on Ricky Knight Jr. So spin around Kenoh. I must have made a typo there, but Ricky Knight was spinning around Kenoh quite a bit, showing off that unique chain wrestling from the strong style in the UK. There were several points in the beginning here when Ricky was doing his stuff that Kenoh just looked really hella confused, and it was phenomenal. Kenoh, though, returning in kind of messing about as Kenoh does, and we know how Mr. Pain in the Ass is. I found out that Mr. Annoying was the nice way to say it. Mr. Pain in the Ass is his real name, I guess. There's a scoop slam. Oh, wait. Knight offering the arm again and again, frustrating Kenoh, and showing that unique UK strong style, and then also hitting a tope con hilo. Scoop slam by Knight, followed by a moonsault for 2. Kenoh leading Knight into the crowd, tossing him around, including into a cameraman. Nowhere he's safe. John Woo kick by Knight Jr., followed by a rope-assisted DDT. Love that. Series of kicks and reversals ends with Kenoh kicking a Knight out of the sky with a thrust kick. So from here, the finish comes with Knight hitting a hook kick and a springboard forearm to the back, followed by a Ricky driver, which I believe is like a reverse pile driver, for 2 points, and a huge win over a very recently former GHC world champion. That's crazy, and a great way to kick off the tournament. I'm excited to see more of Ricky Knight Jr. I have been now investigating all kinds of things, of matches that he's done, because holy heck, so good. I'm very excited to see what happens with the rest of the block as well. So from here, we're going to go on to match number 6, which is a Block A match featuring Ulka Sasaki taking on Kazuyuki Fujita. So Sasaki, very popular with the crowd. There was a sea of his N1 victory towels out there. It was really, really fun to see. Sasaki also coming in through the crowd, rocking some really cool gold gear. I don't recall seeing it before, but it looked really cool, and it came with pants. Um, Sasaki wrestling very technical in this one, and Fujita matching him and keeping up with him, but also throwing in his very that amateur wrestling background as well. Very, very technical match, very, very fun match, and a very change of pace from how the rest of the night was going. Sasaki not giving clean break when Fujita did, and then striking him up and catching him in an armbar. The finish comes with a very frustrated Fujita picking up Sasaki while he's holding an armbar and hitting a single arm powerbomb, followed by a massive powerbomb. And Fujita picks up 2 points. I was a little shocked. I actually kind of went into this thinking Sasaki was going to pick up a win, but I was pleasantly surprised to see Fujita pick up a dominant win in this one. And it really made me realize this tournament, really anything can happen and anything goes. I'm very excited to see how the rest of it goes. So we're going to go into match number 7 now, which is a Block B match featuring Naomichi Marufuji taking on OZAWA. So, of course, as OZAWA does, retreating to the outside at the beginning here. Marufuji, sarcastic as ever, going back and forth, back and forth. OZAWA just clowning him the same way Marufuji has been clowning Kenoh. Works out perfectly, right? Marufuji getting the ears of OZAWA and then going for a chop, which is ducked, but he couldn't duck the jumping knee. That met his face a second later. Ozawa with a huge missile dropkick, but Marufuji avoids and tries to pin, but only gets a 2. Marufuji goes for his Shiranui, but Ozawa reverses and then attempts his own, which is stabbed. On the outside, Marufuji tossing Ozawa around, chopping him at a few different posts, much to the crowd's delight, despite the overwhelming support of Ozawa. So Marufuji continues to toss Ozawa around, smashes the gate into Ozawa's face. So the finish was a little odd. So we're going to go through it a little slowly. So the finish comes with Ozawa tossing Marufuji over the barricade. And then he hops over and hits that top rope Asai moonsault from the ropes to the outside over the barricade where Marufuji is. But the power that Ozawa has in those legs, he went a little far, landed a little funny, and was unable to make it back to his feet and subsequently to the ring. Referee did count out Ozawa, and Ozawa was unfortunately taken out on a stretcher as Marufuji looked on, having his arm raised, but looking more disappointed than triumphant. It's never easy seeing someone get injured, especially when you were looking forward to this kind of match and showdown, as a lot of people were. To have it kind of end like this is very unfortunate. As a result of this, it is now the 9th, so a day after the show. It was announced this morning that as a result of the injury, Ozawa has sustained what they said is a Lisfranc ligament injury, which is those kind of, I'll put a picture up here. It's like those small bones that kind of connect the rest of your ankle and foot to the rest of your foot, essentially. In your hand, they're like there, and the foot, they're closer to the ankle. Usually, according to the internet, without surgery, it's at least 6 to 8 weeks minimum for recovery. I would suspect and hope that Ozawa would be out for at least that, if not more, to ensure a full and proper recovery, especially at 28 years old. We don't want to be dealing with major joint injuries like knee or ankle or back or hip or anything like that, injuries this early. But as a result of the injury, he is no longer able to fulfill his obligations to participate in the tournament. So his matches have all been considered forfeit, and a few extra members have gotten some extra points, which I will discuss at the end of the video when we talk about the total points going forward. So from here, we're going to go to match number 8, which is a change of pace, and it's going to be the championship match I was mentioning earlier for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship. The champion, hey, hey, yo, hey, taking on New Japan star Hiromu Takahashi. So, Takahashi rocking a lobster jacket. I was mentioning he needs eyes in the back of his head because everyone's going to be gunning for him. He's kind of a big deal, with or without a championship. It's Hiromu Takahashi. He's kind of the new generation Kenta, if you will, for juniors. So kind of got a target on his back wherever he goes. Um, on the outside, though, as this match gets underway, Takahashi dropkicks Yohei into the barricade, little foreshadowing. At this point, I noticed Junta Miyawaki is at ringside along with Odashima, and at one point, Takahashi, in the face of Junta Miyawaki, who was yelling at Takahashi to get the action back in the ring, because that's how they do things there at Noah for the most part. And Takahashi yelling, "Is that all you got?" at Yohei on the outside, and this enrages the crowd, which damn near knocks him over with a wave of boos, and also enrages Yohei on the outside and gets Yohei back into the match. Returning from the outside, Yohei beats the crap out of Takahashi, sends him back to the outside, and stomps the ever-living crap out of Takahashi to the point where the ref actually has to kind of get involved and put himself in between Yohei and Takahashi to stop the onslaught. A German release back on the inside by Takahashi, followed by a Pesadora by Yohei. At this point, I noticed Katoge is also at ringside. So there was a chop exchange, which ends with Yohei ducking and hitting a double knee on the ropes, followed by a Gaman-G attempt, but Takahashi reverses and powerbombs Yohei, followed by a Death Valley driver. Yohei hits that Gaman-G and then also a seated Gaman-G, but Takahashi is able to kick out. Takahashi tossing Yohei exploder style into that buckle bomb, but Yohei pulls a roll up for 2. The crowd at this point getting super loud, really, really chanting for Yohei. And the Yohei hits a Canadian destroyer plus 2 drop kicks, but Takahashi is able to kick out again. So the finish comes with Yohei hitting a massive thrust kick, but when he goes to follow up, Takahashi catches Yohei and hits that time bomb 2.5, which is that leg hook sit out power bomb, and he gets the win over Hey Hey Yo Hey to gain the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship. Hiromu Takahashi is our new junior champion, and as soon as he got that championship, we saw Odashima, Katoge, and Miyawaki all make their presence known in the ring. Hiromu not getting a time to celebrate. And it shows you how hungry this junior division really is. Hiromu getting on the mic, kind of looking around, going, you guys aren't, I'm interested, but you guys aren't the guys that I really want to be facing. And we see a familiar face appear at ringside and in the ring behind Takahashi. And we see Eita, which yes, all of the yes. Takahashi, excited to see Eita in the ring, said, "Yep, you're the guy. You are the guy," and he is the guy. I didn't write down the date, but I do have the match card. It is, I know, set in October. For some reason, the 11th is standing out to me, but I have the right match card right here, so whatever that is, that's correct. I am so excited for this. I can't wait to see this. I am also hoping that that means we're going to see Takahashi a bit more, so showing up in Noah before that happens. Also, I desperately need that Eita shirt. The white shirt with the multicolored rainbow paint splatter with the E and the no and the flames and the... I need that shirt. Anyway, we are going to go from here to Block A, match of the night. featuring KENTA taking on Kaito Kiyomiya. And this was a crazy match. This was a crazy match, and we're going to talk about it. So, Kiyomiya setting a really great pace at the beginning of this match. On the outside, Kenta body slamming Kiyomiya onto the matting, then the bare floor, then the bleachers, because why not? Ouch. Kiyomiya's back really hurting after that one. Back in the ring, Kenta hitting a back elbow and just absorbing everything all the strikes that Kiyomiya is feeding him because they're pretty weak after him getting body slammed all over the place. Hitting a high kick and then a snap body slam before transitioning into an armbar, but Kiyomiya makes it to the ropes. What was I even trying to say there? Kiyomiya hitting the dropkick kip up combo that he does, followed by a massive missile dropkick. Kenta activating Crazy Kaito. It was too fracking early for that shit. 5 in the morning. Last thing I wanted to see was Creepy Kaito, because Crazy Kaito is Creepy Kaito, man. But, get back into it. Yeah, too early for that shit. Kiyomiya nails Kento and drops him with one strike. Cocky kicks by Kiyomiya activate Crazy Kenta, which was something I did not need to ever see in my life. And now we had Crazy Kenta and Crazy Kaito sitting in the ring, exchanging chops and just smiling menacingly back and forth. At one point, Crazy Mode activated, Kenta dropping Kiyomiya and following up with a Psycho knee. There was this boinky boinky Lancer by Kiyomiya. But we're going to get into the finish here, you guys. The finish comes Kiyomiya hitting that skywalk elbow for the win on Kenta, the current GHC World Champion, and gaining 2 points. Shocking end to the night. Kiyomiya also handing Kenta his championship after. Kenta kind of wiping it off in disgust. Kiyomiya taking the mic and the crowd chanting for him. And it made me happy to hear and see that Kiyomiya is starting to kind of bounce back. I started watching Pro Wrestling Noah after this, what people call this fall of Kiyomiya. I've not seen it. I am enjoying what I see. I'm hoping that the crowd kind of starts to accept him back. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. That being said, though, I have seen these undertones that I'm starting to kind of almost compare him a little bit to Shota Umino, in that there's a lot of traits that Kiyomiya seems to still have from past mentors that he just can't seem to let it go. I'm hoping to stop seeing the Muda references and start seeing Kaito reclaim Kaito again and be the golden ace that we know he is. So that being said, we're going to get into the point standing at the end of the night here. So for Block A, we have Daga with 2 points, Masa Kitamiya with 2 points, Kazuyuki Fujita with 2 points, Kaito Kiyomiya with 2 points. We have Endo, unfortunately, not on the board yet. We have Manabu Soya with 0 points, Ulka Sasaki with 0 points, and Kenta also with 0 points. So in Block B, because of the forfeit with OZAWA's matches now going forward, we have some members who do already have 4 points and a few members who have 2 points without having a win yet. And then unfortunately, OZAWA will end the tournament with no points. So we have Jack Morris with 4 points. We have Galeno with 4 points. We have Ricky Knight Jr. with 4 points. And we have Naomichi Marufuji with 2 points. Daiki Inaba with 2 points. Harutoki with 2 points. And Kenoh with 2 points. So, going into the next show, which is going to be in 2 days, September 11th, we have Ulka Sasaki taking on Tetsuya Endo. We have Kazuyuki Fujita taking on Daga. We have Kaito Kiyomiya taking on Masa Kitamiya. That's not going to be a hard match for me to call. Kenta taking on Manabu Soya, and that's all for Block A. In Block B, we have Jack Morris taking on Ricky Knight Jr., we have Naomichi Marufuji taking on Kenoh, and we have Daiki Inaba taking the forfeit win from OZAWA. So, that brings us to the end of the show, you guys. I made it in that half an hour, thank goodness. What did you guys think of night one? Did you guys get to take in night one? I don't think I actually told you guys which was my match for Block B choice, but it was where is it? Sorry, Kenoh taking on Ricky Knight Jr. That was my Block B match of the night. Gotta check that out. It's the perfect combination of both strong styles in one ring. It was just so perfect. And again, the opening match, Daga taking on Tetsuya Endo, it just so good, you guys. Top tier match. I expect nothing less out of Daga. Daga just seems to just effortlessly put on these matches, and when you're working with someone as talented as Tetsuya Endo, too, just top tier stuff. So, that all being said, you guys, I hope you come back for night two, which again is going to be coming on September 11th. I will more than likely have an episode out for you either the 12th or early on the 13th, because we're going to be going into a big night after night after night after night show, which I'm going to have to keep up with. So, that being said, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to OLE, and turn on notifications to be alerted every time we drop a new video, which is going to be a lot. If you want a daily dose of Melball, you can catch me on the X thing at Collins Melball. You can catch me on everything else, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Mastodon, and Blue Sky at Melball Collins. You can also catch Pro Wrestling Noah and all of the nights of the N1 on Wrestle Universe, which I will leave the link in the description box below. It is, how much is it? 1,298 yen, or approximately 13 Canadian. Phenomenal price for some amazing wrestling. And not only do you get access to Pro Wrestling Noah, you also get access to Marigold Wrestling, you get access to Tokyo Joshi Pro, you get access to DDT, so many different styles of wrestling, so many different levels of comedy of wrestling. You definitely want to partake in that. I believe there's 8 companies on there. Definitely go check it out. And I will also leave the link to Pro Wrestling Noah's Japanese as well as their English content on YouTube for some extra funnies. The Japanese content doesn't have English captions, but if you're watching Kaito Kiyomiya do a spicy noodle eating contest, there's no English needed on that. just watch and giggle. So, that all being said, you guys, I am your Melball. Matane. Mwah.